too. Yeah.
We're live. Yes. Hard stop. And,
oh, wait.
We're live.
We are.
We're good. We're live. What's up? Finance Junkies. A lot to talk about. I got into a little scruffle today.
Wait, but how you gonna? I mean, come on, we gotta.
Oh shit, we gotta do the intro.
We gotta do the intro, bro. So
What'd you get a scruffle? What? No, we start this first. You got into a scruffle with what? A puppy?
No, dude. I had to defend my
a
honor.
child? With a child?
All right, pull up the fucking intro.
No. Start talking some shit, and then I'll.
Yeah. You open it up. That's the cold open, man.
This is the cold open.
Oh yeah, this is the cold open. Okay.
You'll never believe who got the smackdown today,
dude. So I'm in the car. I'm driving to Wawa. I get a notification from Sawyer Merritt. Okay, this dude, 600. He had 610.7 followers 30 minutes ago. He got 100 followers in 30 minutes. Like this guy, he grows and grows and grows on Twitter. He's like the Tesla dude on Twitter, right? And he responds to my shit about what I said about DOJO yesterday, where I was like, "Oh, Elon said DOJO's probably not going to win," and he tries to quote tweet me and like say, "Oh, well, Elon said this before in the past," and he basically, to make a long story short, he takes all of his 600,000 minions and says, "Go attack Amit." Right, just go get him. He doesn't have to say it. He does a quote tweet. That's enough for his minions to want to attack him.
Yeah, when you poke the fucking bear, you get the claws, dude.
See, I didn't
poke the bear. The bear just found him in the woods, shitting in his fucking garden.
No, I didn't poke the bear. I poked Daddy Elon, and he got upset because Daddy Elon got poked. So he got all of his minions.
What if somebody poked Daddy Carp? How would it
depends? It depends on how. It depends on the claim they're making. I thought what I said was not unfair at all. It wasn't even an opinion. It was just like, oh, I never heard Elon say this, and he was like, oh, Elon said this before, and I'm like, are you fucking stupid?
I told you about those all caps, bro.
I was like, Elon has not said this before in the way. And also, I'm not crazy, dude. I looked at ARK's valuation model. They have DOJO being valued at $20 fucking trillion. The idea that the investing community in Tesla did not think DOJO was a big thing.
Right, that was the cold open. How do you transition, by the way?
Just go right into it and hit play. Let me know.
So he's supposed to do that like somehow in between.
Get rid of us though. I don't want.
What kind of system we got here?
Go ahead.
You were saying?
Can I say that's lame?
It was, dude. I didn't like it either. I think we did it at the beginning, and then we just, I didn't like that either.
No. The problem is it's supposed to be a fluid thing where it comes in, it plays, not like one person on the side disappears at a time.
The problem is this is not a pre-recorded pod, so it's hard to have it.
This thing is so ghetto.
I get rid of the file name too.
Maybe we keep a ghetto open for the rest.
No, I think StreamYard, we've outgrown StreamYard. I think that's the thing. You got to go to a site that knows how to do this.
Dude, there's nothing. The problem with the intro is that if we're live, an intro really doesn't make sense unless it's pre-played and it's into the software. But Melon sucks. All the other ones, Streamlabs sucks. Kris and Matt tried it. They had to go back to StreamYard because of how much it sucks. Like, it's tough. I'm going to email StreamYard and just be like,
I think I know how to do it, by the way. A fourth monitor. I think that's what they usually do. There's a fourth monitor. You just make it full screen. You go full on the fourth or fifth person that's always hidden, which is the intro or any graphics or whatever. And that's how you do it. So you need two computers where you are.
I've got to try that because I've never been able to open two web streams from the same Wi-Fi.
I've done it before, but it is a pain in the butt. You do need a second computer.
I mean, I do. I have the laptop ready. Oh, wait a minute, guys. I just got a notification.
Of what?
Let me see. I don't want to dox myself, but let's see. Hold on.
All right. Anyway. Congratulations. I got 10,000 notifications.
There it is. It's saying it was an update from Apple. Apple Vision Pro. Your Apple Vision Pro is on the way. We're processing your payment and will be delivered.
Oh, you mean that thing you're never going to use that you paid $4,000 for? That's on the way.
That I'm never going to use.
Oh,
Can't
man.
wait to not use it every day.
I really want to see how much you use it, dude, because I got the over under that you're not going to use it as much as you think you are.
Well, he has to now. The thing is, like,
no, he can return it. He could easily get his money back. He'll be okay.
He's not going to do that. There's too much credibility to lose. He's not going to do that.
If I'm not that guy. I'm not the guy that's going to be like, oh, it's great, I use it every day, and then not use it and spend $3,000 just to like be right.
So how many times do you have to use it for you to return it? Because I don't think you're going to return it, Carlos. I really don't. Even if you don't use it.
It depends. It depends, because here's the thing. Like, I bought this laptop. I don't use it as much as I think I would, but I need that laptop, and it fills a need for me, so I'm going to keep it. Even
how many times a week do you need to use it to not return it?
I honestly, well, it's also, I'm not like on a job right now, but I gotta say, I probably haven't used it in 4 days. I just use my desktop, and
so you say at least once a week of using it justifies paying.
Oh no, for that device, it's something different. It's not the same as my laptop. It's like my phone.
Once a month?
Every day. No. I'd have to find some use for it every day. There's got to be.
Do you watch movies? Do you watch movies every day? Because that could be cool.
I don't watch a lot of movies, but I do watch a ton of YouTube. Look,
maybe that'll be the use.
Here's how I know it'll be a success. If I find myself not coming here to like be on my computer and do a bunch of shit that I need all these screens, and I just with the Vision Pro in the house, that is a big win. Honestly, that's a huge.
That is a big win. I think the odds of that happening are slim to none in terms of you not being on your 3-screen monitors and you putting on a Vision Pro. I think
we'll find out. The experiment is starting in a couple of days. We'll find out.
We're gonna find out. I also got that drum set back there. If there's got something in there like a,
I think that is the question. If he uses it at least once a day to jerk off, it's worth it. In my opinion, that has paid for itself.
The idea of like the God, that just seems so fucking weird to me. Maybe I'm old school analog.
Well, your wife can help you, but you'll be looking at some other virtual 3D.
Dude, that's ridiculous.
I'm definitely gonna throw it on my wife and see what she thinks. I'm definitely gonna throw it on her. I mean, look at me now. I look like The Rock.
Right.
Okay, so let's get into Tesla, because I mean, Vitaly, you weren't on the pod yesterday. I think we could talk about that.
I watched the pod, and I do have some notes. Steve, look, God help his soul. First of all, the guy was totally bearish, which was silly because he told me gas smells good, so he loves cars. All right. Do you remember that? Gas is good. Oil changes are the bomb. That was his reasoning for hating Tesla and EVs. Now he's went totally 180. And now he's like, robots are coming out next year. I'm like, dude.
That was like, why I was weirded out. Yeah, I was like,
it's all happening. I agree. It's all happening. But man, the timelines are getting compressed because the stock is going down. We need things to move faster. But I'm just saying, like, you got to be realistic. I'm sorry, people. Like, if one thing is Tesla is showing you that it's probably going to be a while till they can scale again and ramp up, and we have to wait for rates to obviously get in line. Like, all these things have to start happening. And obviously the market will front run a bunch of this. I'm not saying they won't, but right now that's not happening. I think like even front running robots, that's years and years and years away before there's an actual product that's going to actual people. Because I think Carlos mentioned it too, and I agree. Tesla's probably going to use these robots internally to start scaling internally first. So if that's happening, yes, there might be some minor help to the bottom line where less workers are needed, maybe. But I even doubt that in the beginning because they're scaling production. So they're going to still need more workers. They're going to need more robots. I don't think we're going to see the effects of any sort of bot, even if they're out, for a long, long time. I'm talking about 5 years. So I don't know it's as big as Steve is making now, unless he's talking about 10 years away where the robots are now in customers' hands. Then I understand. But it sounded like he was talking about 2025. I think he even said that, which sounds crazy to me, honestly. And I'm a Tesla. I have more Tesla shares than that guy. I'm positive. So I just don't believe that's happening. I think engineering is hard. It's slowing down again. It's hard for them to scale certain products. The Model 2 or whatever it's called is going to take some time to really ramp up. The Cybertruck is going to take some time to ramp up. Semi is taking years and years to ramp up. All these things just take so long, and we all want it so fast. So right now we're going to have an opportunity, I feel, to buy stock very, very cheap, in my opinion, extremely cheap, cheaper than it should be. But that's what it seems like it's going to happen. That's what it seems like going to happen.
I feel like the bot if and when Tesla proves that use case in their own bottom line, even if they get, say, just even 1,000, let's just say 1,000 bots in there, if they can prove that, I think that they will get a multiple in the same way that companies are getting AI multiples now, just for saying AI. We don't even know how they're implementing it yet, but there's a multiple attached to that. And I think that's something where Wall Street would front run that even before they're out or delivered to customers. He did say on the call too that there's a good chance that they could start doing some deliveries of these things by the end of next year. So we'll see. Because remember, it is a far easier product to create than a car. There's even
it's not. I keep saying it. It is not an easier product. But anyway, even if it was, hold on. Let me agree on that point. Even if it is, the problem is Wall Street is not even really giving credit for the energy business, which has reached, I think, 300 million. Someone told me online that's 300 million. It's 10x smaller than the car business. But even then, they're not seeing the opportunity in the energy business, which will be growing into the billions of dollars. That seems to be something that's undervalued right now as it's growing. And you're going to give valuation. Wall Street's going to give valuation to a robot that's not anywhere near out.
The hypocrisy with it is they're not giving a multiple right now to the bot. Yet, if they have any bearish news on the bot, the stock suffers. But if it wasn't in your valuation model, then what does it matter? That's the great hypocrisy with all these things. None of them are giving any multiple, any credence to any of these other verticals. Yet if there's a delay or if it's not going the way it is, or if there's any sentiment changes, the stock is being punished as a result of that. So it's literally it's a no-win situation. The other thing about the energy is they said that this year they believe that the energy growth will outpace vehicle growth this year. So they're saying they expect that, look, they did 6 gigawatt hours of energy last year, 15 this year. That's more than a doubling. So that if they even if you just do 50% or 100%, 50%.
Well, that's 100% growth in energy output. I think revenues grew 50% though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, revenue grew 50%, but deployments grew. So if you just project that forward, that would mean we're somewhere at 35 to 40 gigawatt hours in this year. Maybe that's the number that we need to hit in terms of deployment, where Wall Street starts saying, holy shit. And the thinking there is, my own thinking is, if that happens, it'll be the first time that Wall Street really has to consider this is not just a car company. And in that, you might start to get the multiples on the other things.
So I want to disagree. They already know it's not just a car company. It's worth, I mean, it's going down right now, but it's worth what, $600 billion?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's not just a car company. I hate that we're still relating it to that. Mm-hmm. Wall Street already knows it's not just a car company. The only thing they're not doing is giving these multiples for like these other businesses, like you're saying. Like the robot thing is they're not going to worry about that for another 5 years. I'm positive about that. That's like a nothing burger to them. It means nothing. FSD, I'm sure they're not giving a lot of credence to. And energy, maybe some people have started, but not even. So this is what I'm saying. If they're not even giving energy some sort of a multiple that's amongst all the analysts, not just a few bullish ones, then this bot is not going to be anything for years and years. And like I said, even if Tesla makes it and it's working in their factory, it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect the bottom line enough for any of us to care, because the cars make just so much money.
Right.
That's the problem. They just make so much money that everything else seems so small.
What I'm arguing is, if they get them working in the factories and they're actually producing work, even if it's very little to Tesla's bottom line, that's where I think Wall Street says, okay, they're going to sell a fuck ton of these. Because
somehow I don't believe that. But maybe.
And just share this real quick. So this is Tesla on Yahoo. Just share the screen. All right.
Yeah, you got it.
It's even right now, 51% of the float is held by institutions. So these are the same people that are saying it's just a car company. A lot of them are saying it's just a car company, or they're giving price targets that are $300, $300. It's more almost double what the current is right now.
Who's that guy from Morgan Stanley who said DOJO? And you mentioned this. And I got something to you to. If you want to bring up your beef, and then I'll actually stand up for Sawyer Merritt as well, but you can explain what exactly happened. But I think you were sort of you're mistaken in your thinking in this DOJO thing. But my point is, before he says this thing, Adam Jonas, who was a bear 5 years ago, who said the stock is going to $10, now believes DOJO is going to, because of DOJO, Tesla's going to $350 or so price target. So go ahead, you can continue saying that, but I'm saying, but hold on. I want to point out that Adam Jonas is a Morgan Stanley analyst who is giving price targets for different parts of the business. There you go. So Wall Street is giving Tesla.
He's one of the few, but most of them are like, it's way overvalued. Look at the PE of Ford. Why is Tesla trading at whatever?
Those people are just morons. I agree, but there are analysts who are putting that sort of into the. calculation.
Coming around more so recently, but it hasn't been. It always hasn't always been that way.
You wanna tell us your beef now?
The quick TLDR on the beef is yesterday I was on the earnings call. There was 500 people in the chat, and it was such a boring call. But at the end, Elon said Dojo might not work, and he said that in a not just in a like, oh, I take risks and SpaceX didn't work, but I still pulled it off. It was kind of like this is like we're not really going to be able to just get rid of NVIDIA GPUs right now. The bull case is if you vertically integrate with Dojo, you reduce your capex, increase your margins, and it's just like a beautiful story of Tesla being vertically integrated. They have been selling the story that this will happen. Now, not literally like, hey guys, we're going to replace NVIDIA, but it's been part of the thesis. Adam Jonas got his price target from that as well. Yesterday on the call, he was very sober. I agree with Gene Munster. It was a very sobering call where he's just like, look, guys, you got to give us some time. The bot's not going to happen for a while. Next generation is not going to happen for a while. Margins are not the best right now. But like, I don't care. Either take it or leave it. Elon was kind of just like, it is what it is. And so I said, wow, I never heard him say this before. And then Sawyer Merritt quote tweets a quote from Q1 where he was like, Dojo's a long shot. And in my opinion, the reason why Sawyer Merritt tried to dunk on me, and it was, in my opinion, a failed dunk, is because him spending 1 or 5 seconds, 3 quarters ago saying, yeah, Dojo's a long shot versus really spending his time explaining to investors, hey, Dojo's like basically saying don't invest because of Dojo. It's a low probability thing. He said the words verbatim, and I want to stress how hard, like that was, if you read the transcript, that to me is a different sobering tone from Elon. This is the chart that Tesla's presented to investors. Someone pointed this out today. And as you can see right here, this person says 7 months ago, Tesla put out this chart. What's alarming is not just Elon's tone, but no mention of Dojo in the earnings report and nothing on the call, if not for an analyst question. Do we have a top 5 world supercomputer or not? This is the doc that Tesla put out about Dojo.
So you're confusing. All right, sure.
My last sentence here is that if Tesla themselves are saying, hey, Dojo's a thing, and then on this call, they're saying, yeah, we don't think it's a thing anymore, I don't blame them. Things happen. Things change. Companies have to be honest. But for the Tesla Uber bulls to be like, oh, like you just didn't pay attention to Elon. He said this in this quarter. It's like, dude, millions of investors don't have time to dissect everything that he said. The general consensus was Dojo is a big point. I had Warren Redlick on the podcast 2 months ago. He gave me 20 minutes of a spiel for why Dojo was important. And it doesn't seem like it's important anymore, at least in terms of...
Okay, so I just want to answer this, and then Carlos will chime in, but I think you're confusing 2 different things. One, Dojo includes also building their own chips and supercomputer. But at the same time, Dojo is also using NVIDIA's, their full self-driving computer and all their data that runs in it. They're just using NVIDIA GPUs. So if we're talking about just the software as a service play, FSD, which is supposed to be running on Dojo, by the way, that still can happen. It might not be the same, like it's running on Elon GPUs. It's still running on NVIDIA GPUs. So you as another car company will have to pay Elon money to run your neural nets and to get vision. But that's part of it. So what Elon, I think, was saying there, which once again, I don't know what's inside Elon's brain, but I just think we're saying our own processing units that we're making is no guarantee that we beat NVIDIA for our own processing units. And who the fuck cares? If they solve FSD and they have their own SaaS service for this kind of stuff, I don't give a shit if they're using NVIDIA.
I agree with you. I have no disagreement. My problem was with the reaction I got from Tesla bulls acting like, oh, you're like misquoting Elon. It's like, no. Kathy Wood thought Dojo was going to be worth 20 trillion. Like, don't act like
no, that can still happen. This is what I'm saying. You're getting multiple things confused, and they're getting multiple things confused.
It could, but the sobering tone last night felt like the probability is low. That's all. That's all I said. Is it seems like I've never heard Elon talk about it like that.
He didn't say, okay, what Vitaly said is right. That people are saying that if Dojo doesn't work, then the idea of building a supercluster doesn't work. It's just a matter of whether NVIDIA GPUs or their own proprietary chips are running in the background. As a Tesla investor, I want to see it be the Dojo chips because they're vertically integrated and they're not paying another company for it. But what Elon is saying is that while they're building the Dojo supercomputer, NVIDIA is making faster and faster GPUs. And he's told the Dojo team, if you watch the very first AI day, he's told them that he points to the GPU cluster, the NVIDIA, and he says, I want to turn that fucking thing off. Make something that is better so I can turn that off, right? But right now, all of the FSD is running on NVIDIA GPUs and it's running in parallel.
If they solve FSD, the money is not in the chips. That helps them. Helps them control their expenses. Don't get me wrong.
I agree.
Expenses. But the thing is, when you go back to the chart that you posted, They're saying that this is where they expect to be with Dojo, 10 exaflops or whatever it was by this year. That's no guarantee that in a same comparably equipped GPU cluster of NVIDIA doesn't hit that same standard. He's just saying that that's our goal for this year.
But wait, no. That argument doesn't make sense. But because why would they want to replace NVIDIA then if it's the same outcome? Like there has to be a reason they want it to.
No, it's the price. And NVIDIA gouges everybody for their chips.
So it's capex reduction. That's why they want to get rid of it.
Exactly.
So, but it won't matter if FSD is solved. I mean, yes, it'd be nice to pay less for things because Elon loves saving.
But I'm so confused about that. Why won't it? Why do they even care then about building Dojo if it doesn't matter if FSD is solved? Like it's a drop in the bucket in terms of capex reduction. If
he's a cheap fuck, don't you know that yet? No, but honestly,
he
looks how to get rid of a bolt. He looks how to get rid of a penny. So why wouldn't he try to save a couple of $1 billion? Like
the CFO was talking yesterday about saving 1 penny on one part. He's like, the further into the supply chain you go and save a penny, the more that translates into.
Wait, but hold on, guys. That just proves my argument. Then you guys are acknowledging the importance of Dojo working. Well, my point was, even if FSD works, I get it. But my point was, he said it's a low probability. I'll pull up the quote right now. So that does matter then. That we have to take that into account.
What he was referring
Dojo is more than just. I'm saying it's more than just these GPUs that Tesla is making internally.
I get that, but it does matter.
But it sounds like Elon was referring to that. Like maybe we don't make our own chips.
Let me read the paragraph. It's a long shot worth taking because the payoff is potentially high, but it's not something that is a high probability. It's not like a sure thing at all. High risk, high payoff. Dojo is working and it is doing training jobs. So we're scaling it up. We have plans for 1.5, 2, 3 and whatnot. So I think it's got potential, but can't emphasize enough risk high, blah, blah, blah. So I think it still makes sense given that even if it's a low probability of success for the very high, I think anyway, I'm belaboring the subject.
Yes.
Right.
And once again, Dojo 1.5, he's referring to the actual GPUs, their cluster, their own personal thing. Doesn't mean their supercomputer's gone. They've built it. They're increasing it by 20x in terms of NVIDIA GPUs, right? I think it was something like 20x in terms of compute. That's all still happening. This is why people are fighting over nothing. Who gives a shit if their fucking chips fail? It doesn't matter. The only thing that matters is Tesla needs to sell more cars and make full self-driving and get the energy business. This Dojo thing doesn't matter. The way you're saying it, it just doesn't matter.
The Dojo as a service works even if it's powered by NVIDIA GPUs. They're still going to be able to license the software. It's just a matter of controlling it. It's the same reason why Apple wanted to make their own chips. At the end of the day, the user doesn't care if it's an Intel chip or an M1 chip, but they developed their own chips and got them to customize them for their use case. Low power cores, high performance cores. They made chips that were for Apple products. They could have still done it with Intel chips. It would have just been harder to cool, and it wouldn't have given them the economies of scale and price power that they would have so they spent all that money up front and developed these M chips for 10 years. And now we're seeing the fruits of it. What Elon is trying to do is the same thing. We're going to develop our own chips that are specifically tailored to our use case and then be able to license that out. If they're not beholden to NVIDIA's upgrade schedule, then they can move at their own pace. So Dojo as a service is still possible, even if the Dojo chips can't outperform the equivalent NVIDIA chips. He doesn't want to spend the money on that, and he doesn't want to be beholden to another company. That's what he's trying to do.
That makes sense.
And the thing is, he's thinking so high level. He's thinking so high level when he's talking. He's referring to specific things in his own brain, of course, but not everybody knows, like you're saying. Nobody understands that.
Right.
Oh, well, full self-driving has nothing to do with this. They're still going to have a supercomputer. It's still going to work out in a different capacity. They're not thinking about all of that. He's just thinking about the freaking chip architecture. You know what I'm saying? He's like, well, we have some internal...
That was my point. To your point, Vitaly, that's why 500 people in the chat yesterday were just like, what? He said Dojo's not going to work. And so my point is just the public perception was definitely a little turned off.
Well, because they don't know.
Your Merritt's trying to act like we should all be experts and know every fucking transcript of the earn. I'm like, dude.
I agree with both of you.
No, I think what Sawyer was basically trying to say is what the
fuck Sawyer. I'm saying it right here. Fuck Sawyer.
I didn't say it. You said it. I didn't say it.
What Sawyer was trying to
say. I like him. He's a good guy. He's not a bad guy.
What Sawyer was trying to say is the words that came out of his mouth, it's not the first time he said them.
But it was the first time he stressed it, dude. That's my point. If he stressed it the way he stressed it quarters ago, Jonas would not have come out with that new song. Get it, Jonas Brothers? He would not. He would not come out with a new report.
I don't
That's
know
like
for
target.
certain. I don't know for certain, but I felt.
What do you mean you don't know for certain? No. Adam
No,
Jonas
I'm
came
not
out with that
finished.
report because
I'm not finished.
Elon was bullish.
I'm not finished. I don't know for certain, but I had a feeling on the call that he was purposefully not trying to get ahead of himself and say things that could come bite him in the ass. And
No,
the
but
same
Carlos,
way,
that's the problem. He said things like he went ahead of himself previous quarters, which is why Jonas put out a $450 price target.
that's why I think he was intentionally being more reserved on the call and not trying to create hype in the way that he might have gotten ahead of. And he even said at the top of the call, I have a habit of being overly optimistic or positive, and he was saying, I'm trying not to do that.
Well,
So
that's my
what
point. That's why Sawyer trying to dunk on me was ridiculous.
Sandbag expectations because it's better. Like that's the Apple model. They never tell you what they're going to do. Then they just release it and it's out, right?
No, I get it, but that's why Sawyer trying to dunk was ridiculous because Elon did a 180 on his tone, and Sawyer's acting like, oh, he was always acting. It's like, no, same thing with the Boomer House mama Tesla woman. She was like, oh, Elon's always said this. I'm like, for you guys that obsess over every word, he's always said this, but to the general public, he's been bullish on DOJO,
But
and yesterday was a shift.
the general public is not listening to those calls. It's people.
By the way,
that's my point.
I think it's BS that I bet you he does create a chip specifically for his purpose. I think that's still going to happen. I just don't think he wants people to depend on that aspect of it. Because if he went on the call and said, you know what, full self-driving, FSD is done, we can't do it. That's different.
Yeah.
You have to say the right words.
And he didn't say that. He didn't say that. You're right. You're right.
If he said FSD is over, then, oh my God, the bull case sort of like just completely disintegrates, right?
Best comment so far is PG at 625. This call was perfect. It was a perfect phone call. Everybody heard
it. Kris, Tesla going to 150.
Yeah, probably.
I think Tesla's going to 100, so he's bullish.
Okay, explain. What are you thinking right now, Kris, on earnings?
Everyone has to basically, a lot of what's going on with Tesla is it's not Tesla's fault. It's not Elon's fault. I mean, he can't control the general state of the economy. He can't control interest rates. These are things that are way beyond his power to control. All he can do is make the best product possible and try to price things in a way that most consumers are going to buy them. And that's it. And then also make the investments at the right time in order to benefit long term. So I think a lot of people are missing that. A lot of the capex, a lot of the spending, all the margin compression that you're seeing, all of that is mainly because Tesla is building a long-term company. My thesis when it comes to companies is never based on a bias of whether or not a company is good or bad. It's just a combination of, are they executing? And then are they executing into a market that's easy for them to do business in, or is it going to be hard for them to do the business in? And then after that, it's up to the company. But right now, Tesla's in a bad place because EVs are a little bit out of favor. Everyone can tell that. Chinese competition is there, which means that in their Chinese domestic market, they are going to see some price cutting that they're going to have to contend with. In Europe, which the Chinese are just dumping cars into, that's also going to see some price compression, which means that Tesla's margins are going to be compressed. But long term, there are other parts of the company that are going to be, I think, really good growers that could lead to more value. The only thing is, right now, the valuation in the current macro condition does not make the sense that's necessary to invest in it. I estimate between 125 and 150. So if it drops below 150, it could be worth buying some stock in. If it drops below 125, more so. And then if it drops to 100, then you should buy some call options that are long dated, because that means that the maximum risk to reward is on your side, because there's no way that it's worth, with even the current revenue and profitability, that is worth under $100. So it's just a matter of risk to reward, and depending on where the price ended up going. So, and then the last thing is just, I think the macro environment, sorry, the macro environment will eventually improve, but right now it's just not there. I think there's a catch up happening among the other EVs, EV makers. They're reducing down production because the demand isn't there. A lot of people don't realize, but EV demand is down across the board. So that means the future growth, Tesla's really going to have to step up some of the offerings to get people interested in EVs. And I'm sure Elon will come up with really good creative ways to do it.
But 1.2 million of, or what, they sold 1.8 million vehicles, and they said 1.6 million of those vehicles that they sold last year were to first-time Tesla owners. So I agree with a lot of what you said, but I don't agree that like EVs have fallen out of favor. The only thing that was going to destroy my thesis on Tesla is if they do make the vehicles affordable and they're not selling. They are giving guidance for the year saying they're putting a lot of eggs and a lot of capex, $10 billion in that capex to build out the next generation manufacturing process, which allows them to get the costs dramatically down. And that's why they're not going to produce as many vehicles. If they don't sell through their vehicles, if we see inventory building up for Tesla, then we know that there's true demand problems. The demand problems that you're hearing from like Volkswagen and Ford, they have significantly lowered their guidance. Lucid is basically a bankrupt. There's no other EV maker that's doing well besides BYD, and they're not making that much, if any, money on their vehicles. So it's all a cash burn for everybody else. And this idea that Tesla's compressing their margin so the company is not doing as well, they have margin to play with. And if you want to be in the EV space, would you rather be investing in a company that's losing money on their products as they try to scale, or a company that's actually still making money on their
Right, but Carlos,
vehicles?
at the end of the day, you're still a shareholder in a company who has to do this discounting, you know? So there isn't nearly the amount of competitive edge. I mean, I can grant Tesla has the best margin in the EV industry, but that doesn't matter. That really doesn't matter, because if overall the EV market is shrinking, that means that Tesla is going to have to do other things to compete. So I think what you're saying is buy the best,
EV market is not shrinking. You gotta
not shrinking.
The growth rate of the EV market is shrinking.
50% CAGR is shrinking, but the EV market is not shrinking. I think so. What you're conflating is we went from 50% to 40 to 30. Now you're right. Maybe we're at 20% growth, but there's still growth. This is what you're missing. But everybody wanted Tesla at 50% growth. Right. This is why it was priced like $1 trillion company. And if you don't give us 50% growth, then you're not going to get $1 trillion company. That's the bottom line. I agree.
That's true. That's true.
But it has nothing to do with the EV market shrinking, or Tesla is still going to make more vehicles next year.
Overall, EV growth. Let me rephrase. EV growth is stabilizing, if not reducing, right now. Some of it could be directly related to like just the saturation of people who are first time, what are they called? Like, I forgot the exact term, but basically they're like into, not knuckleheads, but they're more likely to buy new technology versus you're going to run out of the demographics, right? When you come up with a new product, there's a demographic, knuckleheads. There's going to be a demographic that's like instantly like, yes, I want to buy that car. And then there are another part of the population that are just going to say, hey, wait a second. Like I like my ICE car. It works. I don't need to go beyond that, you know? And then you have to remember there's certain conditions that EVs will sell into, but they can't be sold into others. So as an example, like the urban population, they can't really, early adopters. Thank you, G10. Early adopters will of course be the first ones to buy new products, but others are going to wait. The other thing is the infrastructure that's necessary in order to support electric cars is not 100% there yet, in my opinion. I think that it's going to still take some time. And I think the government and around the world is actually doing the right thing by addressing it, by actually creating legislation and funding to create more superchargers, to get rid of that range anxiety, right? And also, I think Tesla is probably going to have a long CapEx cycle, because if they are trying to take this mega charger thing seriously with the new chargers, the V4 ones, that's going to be expensive. You're going to have to put them all across the country and all across the world, because if they hope to make money in the Tesla semis, they're going to need those things more than anything. So we'll see what happens.
So this is what happens with Tesla stock, at least if you study it over the years. It goes into hibernation for like 4 or 5 years. Then it has a moment of sort of increase, like sort of multiple increase, because something fundamental changed. Whatever. It happened actually several times, not even just 2019, 2020. But then when the Model 3 and everything was developed, that's when it went obviously parabolic, went up 20x, 30x, whatever it went up. Now we're in a period of consolidation again, and we need the next leg, and which is, I agree, it's like a 4, 5 year, 6 year journey to get that leg. So if people are expecting, in my opinion, that next year Tesla's going to all-time highs or the following year. I don't think that's going to happen. I actually agree with you, Kris, on that. But at the same time, there are prices for Kris it's 150 or under, for other people's it's under 200, that you just DCA into Tesla, because if you believe that we are in a transition to EVs and all signs point that way, Tesla's the clear beneficiary of that transition, with solar, with superchargers, with semis, with whatever else they create. They're clearly the leader. So in terms of the stock, it might suck for a couple of years, but I think, once again, just look out 5-10 years. Even you understand all of this investment in this infrastructure is going to build a massive company, correct?
Do you guys want to do a quick watch of Dan Ives and Tasha from Mark? Or actually, instead of that, we can maybe watch that at the end. Let me just read you Dan Ives' comment.
You didn't even let me comment on Sawyer Merritt, though.
Oh, go ahead. See what you want to say. You got it.
So just let you know,
there you go.
Sawyer Merritt would let Elon jizz in his mouth so he could report the next day.
I didn't go that
how bad. Elon's cum tasted.
What I'm talking about, Carlos. Why aren't you laughing? That's what I'm talking about.
This is,
you know, can you clip that?
Laughing, Carlos.
Okay. Yo, somebody clip that. Put that right now on Sawyer Merritt's channel.
And Tesla.
Okay, don't do that. Don't actually clip it.
Tesla Boomer Mama. I was listening to a conference call about three quarters ago, and this person who's supposed to be has a background in financial analysis says, "Oh, short-term investments. I'm very curious on what short-term investments are." And Ross Gerber looked at her like, that just means that they're buying short-term treasuries with cash. I was floored by seeing some shit like that. That basically tells me that you don't even know how to fucking read a balance sheet.
Oh.
And it's funny that she has all these credentials behind her name. She thought that Tesla was investing in some fucking magical unicorn startup
Bitcoin.
Or something.
Bitcoin.
I don't know, but she was so fucking stupid. And after that, I just tuned her the fuck out. I was like, no, I cannot listen to a person that does.
Well, me and Kris are getting blocked tonight by a bunch of people.
Basic.
All right, remember, guys, you gotta tweet this at them and just point out Kris and Amit. Okay?
No, it's just it just goes to show that some people are not worth listening to. All they do is follow the trend and just talk about this one thing, and that's it. They are not investors. They're not investors. They're fucking content creators. Okay.
I will double down on Kris's statement on Sawyer. I mean, outside of what Kris, he's being hyperbolic here, but in the context of the quote,
tell me about how much cum he has in his mouth.
No, in the context of the quote tweet he did say, first of all, no, on some real shit, I'm happy Kris said this, and Kris is doubling down here as well. You have a 600,000 follower account. You know what you're doing when you're quote tweeting a small account like me and trying to dunk, which is what he tried to do. You were trying to be like, hey, my 600,000 people, this guy's a fucking idiot. Go at him. Michael Jordan meme. I took that personally. Okay, I took that fucking personally. You don't just come at me. We don't do this. I know I'm Indian and I don't like beef. I protect the cow, but I'm not letting you just dunk on me like that, bro.
He didn't even dunk on you, though.
Did you see his response to your response?
His response was stupid. I can break it down to you right now. I broke down.
It was nice, wasn't it? He was being a gentleman, and you, sir, are not a gentleman.
Response was so bad, dude. His response. He doesn't know what an argument is. You have a claim, warrant, and impact. He just made a claim. There's no warrant or impact.
Just read his response. He said, "I was merely pointing out that essentially the words that he has said on the call yesterday, he has been saying those words." He said, "I didn't give my opinion."
Okay, you want me to bring up his response because I tore his ass apart in the market close. I'll do it again,
bro. Why would you want to tear someone like that apart anyway? I
say MMA match.
Well, no, that's my point, dude. The reason this is so funny is because it's not actually beef. It's just like it's
not beef at all, dude. It's not beef at all.
It's not beef, but it's funny.
He has 600,000 followers.
Listen, if you want
600,000 followers, so I'm coming at it too. But it's not real.
You should be. You got to punch up.
Yeah, he's a YouTuber, man.
You got to punch above your weight. Yeah, this is YouTube.
Now, Kris, what
Sawyer Merritt, you went after a YouTuber.
About Sawyer is actually tearing his ass apart. I didn't say all that. What you said is a little bit more serious, but
that's because I'm a dick. You know, why not?
See, whatever. I'm playing this up for fun, but this is what he said. Let me tell this part. He said, "All I did was share an Elon quote. I did not share an opinion." Now, real quick.
No, read the rest of it.
No, hold on. I'm gonna go back to it. But let me just ask if this is an opinion.
You should have just said, "How does Elon's cum taste?" You know, we're gonna do an episode about that.
You know, but by the way, do we get demonetized every time he says "cum"?
I don't care. Is this an opinion? Someone tells me, "Is this an opinion?" Please tell me, is this an opinion? I want to know where
I mean,
the
you
opinion
said
is.
what the fuck? I don't even know why you would say WTF.
No, but WTF is just like, oh, I've never heard this before. There is no opinion here. This is a fact. I, Amit Kukrage, have never heard Elon be this ridiculous, or not ridiculous, but like exaggerate or claim that Dojo's long. So first of all, he's wrong on his first sentence. I didn't state an opinion. So like immediately I was like, well, this response already is incorrect. But then he said, the Elon quote I shared is not misleading at all. You implied in your post that Elon has never said it, and it was a long shot and has a low probability of success. I get it. The problem is my response says the perception of Dojo in the entire investing community, ARK has a $20 trillion valuation on that, implies that Elon absolutely made it a big deal for investors, even if technically, yes, he said it's a long shot. He said SpaceX was a long shot too.
But
right?
can I pause you right there? Once again, whether it's NVIDIA chips or Tesla's proprietary chips, ARK's thesis can still be right. What Elon was talking about was chips, not the idea of Dojo. And this is where I think the confusion was. You're making it seem like, oh my God, Dojo's not going to happen. He was merely saying, I don't know that.
Why are we repeating this? Why are we repeating this? This was already. This is clear as day.
Carlos, I got this. You don't have to repeat.
That's where you guys disconnected. That was literally where the.
I think the disconnect. It's not just about chips versus Dojo versus licensing FTC. It's the general awareness of Dojo as a part of Tesla's valuation. Some of the parts has been accounted for by various analysts that are incredibly bullish as a thing they need to really assume is going to happen to get to a $400, $500 price target. Right. Yesterday, Elon said, don't do that shit. Or if you do it, it's a low probability. That changes everything.
The confusing part where Elon should have been clear.
Elon confused everybody.
Where Elon should have been clear is saying, I'm not sure that we're going to have the chips that Dojo will be powered by our chips. That's the part that he's saying low probability.
I get it, but Carlos, you as an investor that's so deep, you get it. The general community does not think like as deep as that. That's my point. That was the point.
There's no way. Honestly, there's no way that someone like me should know that over somebody else.
You have a lot of money.
By the way, this is part of
nearly as much money as.
So I know people can disagree, but this is a part of the problem where Elon is the only source of information for Tesla because there is no way to reach out and get any actual information for media like you to find out accurate information because Elon's not going to answer your email and explain Dojo the way he thinks about it in his head. So I do think that is a problem. He has to communicate as this business gets bigger a little bit more clearer through some other channel because he personally cannot do it. And memes aren't going to work for everybody.
I also think that this is better. That's better. That's not the kind of thing that's like best served on an earnings call. I think that first of all, the earnings call should be video because I think that's a big part of it.
No, but if you want to follow up about like these questions that we're asking, how do we follow up?
No, I'm saying they either do like an investor day, an AI day. They should have an official day where they take all of these questions from the public, and they invite the analysts there too. That's my opinion. These things.
I don't care about any of that. I'm just saying Sawyer tried to dunk, and it didn't work. And a lot of people liked my tweet because they also, dude, so many responses were like, "Yo, Amit, I felt the same way when I was listening to earnings. That statement really threw me off. It wasn't just me. It wasn't me as someone who has 15 shares. It was a lot. I mean, fucking Gary Black was talking about the statement this morning. So
Gary, no. I feel you. I agree. The language is bad. I agree with you.
So that's what I'm saying. Everyone can, at a normative level, assume, oh, that was weird. And then Sawyer's trying to quote to me like, no, that's not weird. He said it. Like, no. It is weird. Because you don't recognize how weird it is because maybe you got something in your mouth. I don't know.
Because Sawyer's coming at it from my perspective, where he understands what Elon meant. And that's why there was the disconnect there.
Yeah, but then don't dunk on me.
No, what he should again. There's a number of places this can be mitigated.
Because I'm gonna fight back, dude. I don't care. I'm not gonna let you dunk on me, dude. I'm not built like that, bro. I went to high school in Newark.
On you though. He didn't even dunk on you. I don't know where
Chris. We're just trying to play up the narrative, bro.
Amit has the biggest internet balls ever. But if Sawyer met him in an alley with a pen and said, "Give me all your money,"
I'd be like, "All right, bro. What do you want?"
Amit would be naked came up to him with a pen.
Dude, I'm not a fighter.
By the way, I'd like to apologize to Sawyer Merritt. Okay, I'm sure that he would not let Elon jizz in his mouth. Okay?
It's too late.
It's too late.
He would at least.
It's too late.
I feel like he would at least be respectful enough to have Elon jizz in a cup and then suck it out of a cup. He's definitely not gonna suck his dick for it. He's got way too much. I got respect for the guy. But he's definitely.
Chris, I don't know where you're going with all this, but all right.
I'm just telling you, some people.
Chris gets to say this because he's had a price target on Tesla that no one thought would happen, and it's starting to happen. So I think he.
What are you talking about? This is bullshit. First of all, I've been saying for a long time, Tesla's overvalued.
Dude, when Chris said
$100 stock, bullshit. No, bullshit. until Tesla does certain things that are going to take years and years to play out, it doesn't matter. Okay, it's going to go up and down. It's going to consolidate over years. That's the way Tesla does it. That's the way Enphase does it over years. That's the way all these high growth companies do it. Nvidia did it. Okay,
most people do not think
everybody,
dude. Most people,
every company that's high growth, super volatile, consolidates over long periods of time before it has its next leg up. This is not genius. This is just the way it works. But everybody's impatient. That's the problem. Everybody wants it tomorrow. Me too. Okay. I want full self-driving tomorrow.
I'm just saying at 250, people do not think Tesla will be down 20% for the year while the S&P is up almost 10%, like 5 or 10%,
okay,
whatever.
If you say so.
I mean, that's no one thought that was going to happen for 2024. No one thought Tesla will be at 150 while the S&P is at 485.
I don't think
180, whatever.
Thinking that it's not going to happen is not the same as thinking that it's not possible or reacting to it when it does. I honestly don't care if the price drops. I really don't, and it's one of my largest.
Either I want to buy more.
Neither care if it drops, but it's different if it was a different company. I think that the thesis has changed. Like I said, for me, the only thing that's going to change the thesis if we find out that affordability is not the problem. They get the vehicles to $20,000 and no one's buying them. Then holy shit, you got to rethink your thing on Tesla, because now you're not investing in a car business anymore. You're investing in an energy robot FSD play, and that's the only play. And they were supposed to be call options. I'm not going to bank my family's future on call options. I need them to sell fucking cars. You know what I mean?
Dude, the funniest comment. Someone said, Philip Rizzo said, Kris just gave Jamie Dimon do you guys know what a blumpkin is?
Yeah, I've heard the term.
But what is a blumpkin?
Okay. A blumpkin is supposedly a blowjob while the person is taking the dump. You know, so that's why I call it a blumpkin. It's hilarious. Dude.
I do a word of the day every day, and
there you go.
That's the next word of the day.
Share this real quick. This is interesting. This is just so we keep this in perspective here. Tesla's turned the corner financially. Others have a way to go. You have to be crazy to think you'll be successful in the world of EVs, let alone compete. This is the free cash flow of pure EV makers cumulatively. And the last thing that I want to share is this. While we're talking about the price of Tesla, I don't know if you guys saw this. It was like I've never seen this before. Some guy tried to chart Tesla's stock price as if it was a crypto. This is fucking weird.
Wow.
Listen, check this out. Check this out. I'm going to play a little bit of this because I was like, this is fucking weird. I've never heard this before. Tell me if you hear the audio. Let me see.
Yeah, we hear
what is going to happen after earnings for Tesla?
All right.
So this chart, I believe, is telling the whole story here. As you can see, this is the 45-degree angle right here. It's respected it the whole time. And these are the levels here, the orange horizontal line. It's been respected the whole time. It even went back to retest it right there. And we're seeing something similar with this blue horizontal line where we're above it, go to the arcs, and we go down in January of 23. And then what do? Well, we go up and we're retesting this blue line again. But also what we're doing is retesting this arc as support. And in my other videos, I was using different bar ratios, square ratios for the y-axis. So this one I expanded even further, and it seems to match up perfectly. And it's retesting the arc, and it's on the upside of the top side of the arc. And what I'm seeing is, I'm going to zoom in here a little bit. What I'm seeing is, after earnings, we'll probably retest this area, 200. Maybe.
All right, dude, let's move on. This is stupid.
And this,
whatever. We get it. He's trying to.
Yeah, Carl, this is not the best video. I'm sorry. I have no idea.
This was really odd to me because he's basically.
That's true astrology.
That Tesla operates in some sort of crypto cycles. I'm like, oh my god, people are losing.
Okay, let's move on to PayPal. Vitaly, you saw some of the innovations today. They basically said they're going to make AI checkouts.
I asked everybody on Twitter what are the innovations, and they said they finally on social media.
What?
Okay, so let me
finally got a social media account.
Let me do a quick TLDR. First of all, the event wasn't live. It was some pre-recorded video, so that kind of threw people off guard.
That's lame. That's really
very lame. We'll talk about that. Venmo has business profiles, targeted advertising. They're kind of building like a little Amazon via PayPal where you could scroll through shit and buy it. And then you have recommendations on your receipt. So when you get a receipt for something, it'll like give you a pop-up to like click on something to buy. Should increase checkouts. And a cashback. They're going to do cashback deals on people that buy stuff on PayPal. So like 5% cashback, whatever. That was the innovation. There's a quick clip by Josh Brown talking about it for 1 minute. I think that'll be good to play. But yeah, it wasn't.
Was the world shocked?
The stock price fell 5%. So I mean
that was shocking.
that was indeed shocking. Here, let's play this. It's like 50 seconds of Josh Brown. I think he sums it up nicely. But in general, to me, the biggest surprise was that it wasn't live. I thought it was going to be like an Apple type event.
It should have been live. Yeah,
it should have been live. That was a big miss.
Yeah.
Can you tweet at him? Tell him it should be live.
I think he saw my tweet, dude. I did a recap, and I know he's on Twitter, so hopefully he sees it in the next.
You got to write it in all caps and start it with, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's the stupidest thing I've ever seen. It looks like market manipulation, but nobody wins. So why would you come out and say we're going to rock your world or whatever he said, and then the big innovation is we're not investing in this, we're still cost cutting, but look, we're going to do a faster checkout. That's like table stakes. You have to have a faster check. We all understand that. There's nothing here. They should. I don't know. I'm not impressed by so far. It's a new CEO. Give them the benefit of the doubt. They report on February 7th. Maybe they will rock our world then. But like this is not what's popping in the streets. Like we don't roll like this. We don't say big things and then back them up with basically minor incremental improvements to existing products. That's a really weird flex. And that's why you're seeing the stock get traded this way.
Vitaly, thoughts?
Yeah, Josh Brown is usually wrong for all of his opinions, but he is right, spot on that one. That there were 6 points. I think Crossroads had a good tweet explaining all of the different things that happened, and the mistake was going and pumping the stock without actually having anything of real value that changes PayPal dramatically. Something that makes the business just obviously better for everybody. And that didn't happen. So once again, I'm thinking I bought a value trap. That's what I did.
Carlos, your thoughts?
I agree. I think what you're seeing now is that it's really hard to be innovative in the payment space. It's a really mature industry. And how many different ways are you going to, and I don't know if people it's just not an industry that people get excited about. So I think he made the wrong call, especially being a new CEO. There's a whole, if you study like a power dynamics, or when you change somebody, especially like at the CEO, what they tell you is the general idea is like, don't change things right away. Don't break everything. Sit with it. Let it sit for 3, 4, 5 weeks, 6, whatever it is. Sit with it for a while. Really learn how the team works, and then start to implement your changes once you've gotten the support of the team. But I feel like he came in and felt like he had to just do something radical, and it ended up backfiring. You can't go up there and say, I'm going to shock the world when your business is payments, and then deliver, like this guy said, incremental updates or sort of obvious low-lying fruit sort of integrations. I feel like they're going to just keep getting crushed. And even if they do have a good earnings, this is going to leave a bad taste in this mouth. It's not the way you want to start your reign as CEO.
And it wasn't live, which is just a big mistake.
Yeah, I want to talk about that in a second. Like, Kris,
like even a Q&A after that was live or something.
Yeah, Kris, what are your high-level thoughts on this? Any perspective, and then we'll talk about that live thing. Go ahead.
I think we should probably give it some time to see what kind of monetization that comes out of this. I mean, the guy seems hyped about it, primarily because I'm sure that they did some focus groups. I'm sure that some of the counterparties that signed off on this may have got the numbers behind it. So this is one of those things that, yes, it seemed like it was an over-promised, under-delivered event, but I think that the numbers are the ones who want to let people talk, so I'd say give this guy a year, see if the numbers at PayPal improve, growth returns, and then after that you can judge whether or not this was successful or not. I'm sure there are tons of presentations that don't go over very well, but eventually return the company back to growth mode. So we'll see.
Vitaly, how do you think the event could have been different if they went live?
Well, it's there's a Q&A, there's analysts there, he's answering questions, he's making sure he's engaging with an audience.
Look at the NVIDIA ones. Look at the NVIDIA.
Like it get us excited about what you're doing. And a recorded event is, that's just not exciting. It's not even an event. It's like big deal. You put YouTube, it starts at 4:00, big deal. Like nobody cares. But the thing is, I do want to point out, he did do something actually spectacular, which is being glossed over. He's going on Twitter and doing customer service hands down, which is way more than this stupid thing that he was pumping. Like that seems much more important. That if he went on even on CNBC and said, you know what, we're customer focused now. You contact me, okay? You, the audience, you contact me, and I'm gonna make sure we fix whatever problem you have with PayPal.
Yeah,
like I think that's a much more powerful message than.
Did you see Grogu's back and forth with him? He follows us, Grogu, on Twitter.
He responded to Grogu, and
he responded. He's like, he put up a complaint about PayPal, and then apparently the guy responded, and he was like, "How do I know that this is really you?"
I did see that.
Like, you want a DNA? I mean, it's like, to your point, I think that that is going to pay them way more dividends in the future than any of these announcements. Now people feel like you actually have access to the guy. The guy should start getting out there, doing social media, doing more podcasts, like getting out there and actually being the face of the company. I think that long term could make PayPal a loved stock, right? I think people
right now, right. See, the thing is, you mentioned that, right? Nobody loves fintech. Honestly, nobody cares. And besides Anthony Noto, who's sort of a little bit known in our community, but nobody knows these people, honestly.
Yeah.
If this guy got out there and everybody started to know him and gave a good image for PayPal, that would help more than anything, because image is everything. And honestly, sentiment means a lot. Stocks do good just on sentiment.
So we got to
right now, no good sentiment.
Yeah, it pumped before the event on sentiment. So
we got to tweet.
He promised the world.
Episode. We got to get him on.
No, dude. One of my friends, Rex Finance, he has a great channel on YouTube. If you guys are interested in Bitcoin miners, he linked in Alex Kris, like, hey, can I get you on the channel? And Alex Kris like politely declined because he said he was busy. So he actually did respond to a YouTuber about joining their channel. I think he should have done the interview. I think he should be doing every interview he can with YouTubers, quite frankly, because
he should. Yeah,
he should look at the YouTube analytics of the search term PayPal.
Mm-hmm.
It's like in the millions every month. Retail investors want to buy your stock. Why don't you go tell your story? Why don't you like do 1 or 2 podcasts? I don't know. I don't think it's the crazy.
Because it's not about it's not his core target audience is not YouTubers. It's actual businesses and consumers. That's the thing, you know. So,
but the stock's in the gutter, Kris. I'm not saying his audience. I'm saying
right. So go on CNBC. Go to investor conferences. Go to board
merchants are not watching that. Investors are watching CNBC.
Right, but you're not. But your goal as a CEO is not to attract investors like that. It's to attract businesses, and then once that's reflected in the numbers, the investors will come for themselves. You know what I mean? That's the thing. You're not like right now, Elon going back and forth with a dissatisfied Tesla customer on the face. It looks nice to see that you're that person being able to speak to power. But I'd rather see Elon talk to the heads of the other automotive companies and get them to switch to the NCAS system. I think that's way more bullish.
They won't invite him. What are you talking about? They won't invite him to the EV summit. He's not
allowed. No. But they all relented. They all switched the NCAS system to the North American charging standard. So that's what I'm saying.
No choice. That was kicking and screaming. It's not like they did it because they wanted to.
No, I think to some degree.
Well, as soon as Ford, it was as soon as Ford. Ford was actually the catalyst there.
Why did Ford do that? Because people are posting online how horrible the non-Tesla supercharging network.
Well, I think his daughter said, "How come we can't charge over there?"
Yeah. I mean, there you go. So that's something where like bottom up, the bottom up grassroots thing, social media viral thing, actually affects.
But Kris is right about PayPal. Look, if the customers do care about these 6 things and it actually brings engagement and more money to PayPal and more transactions, that's it. That's what matters at the end of the day. So we'll see what happens there. But where Kris is wrong is like going out and just talking to the public, whether it's YouTubers or anybody else, just getting out there that everybody knows that this is the guy. PayPal has a new image. I think that actually helps them. I don't think it hurts them.
I just think he's got like, what CEO do you think has a tougher job than him right now? Like, who goes to work as a CEO?
Carp has to get us above 25% growth right now.
Carp's doing fine.
I don't know if he has a tougher job, honestly. If he keeps these buybacks up, doesn't the stock just move up eventually?
I think so too.
Inertia
more than 9%. I think they'll be okay.
But my options will be expired. That's the problem.
PayPal. I'm just saying.
Dude, Jesse bought another 200 contracts today. He's 500.
I only care about the options. The stock will eventually go up, but I have options.
Honestly, I
followed Amit.
I think a lot of people are in love with the stock price and the potential for profit versus.
Yes, that's all we care about, dude. No one gives a fuck about PayPal. We just want to make some money.
PayPal.
To Kris's point, people and businesses cared about the product, then the stock price would follow.
Dude, ever since I got these options, I've never woken up more thinking about PayPal in my life.
Yeah. By the way, my options are, I think someone's asking, my options are actually 2026.
Now I wake up and I'm like, PayPal. I wonder what's going on in the world of PayPal. It's so funny. When you sell a stock, you stop. You're like, it's like breaking up with a girl. You're like,
like whatever.
I don't want to know about it, right? Well, like, what's the opposite of a watch list? Like you block a stock and you're like, I don't want to see.
Like, dude, when I sold Ginkgo Bioworks and I made like $100, but I got rid of my position, I have never thought about synthetic biology in the past year. But when I was inside, I was like, man, the potential of synthetic biology is just incredible. And I'm like, who gives a fuck, dude? About like, it's crazy.
So the only reason I'm still bullish a little bit on PayPal is because I actually use PayPal. It's when I go to a site and you check out at random sites, Obviously, Amazon has your personal information. They know everything. You have your millions of credit cards. But on every other site, I use PayPal if I'm given the option. Right? If you're going to a 1-off or a 2-off, there's no reason to put all that information.
It's
Just use
PayPal. PayPal. Me
PayPal.
too. It's PayPal. It's PayPal.
Yeah. So it's very useful in that respect. And Apple Pay does not get used everywhere because that's still hard to use everywhere. What else is there? I don't even know. Cash App, can you use that? No, not really. So what is there? It's just PayPal, really.
Venmo's increasing. I use it more than
well, that's both. But I'm saying like there's really nothing else besides those two for just easy transactions between people, Venmo. And Zelle is not a competition for that. FedNow is not a competition for that. And PayPal is great for like those one-off sites because you don't want to leave all your information, and PayPal hides all of that. So,
all right, let's end the.
It's at the end of the day, how do you innovate when that's your business model? And there's so many other players. At the end of the day, really care if you use PayPal, if you use this, whatever. As long as the money's insured, as long as you can get it back if there's a problem, like, do you really care?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I do. I don't want to put in my credit card information in random sites.
Oh, you're saying to use PayPal. I mean, but you still have to put your PayPal information.
No, well, that's a PayPal. It connects to the back end of these companies, and it just has there's a charge, and they share the address, but they don't share any payment details. Like meaning my card or whatever.
Your concern. Apple has a service where they'll give you like a fake card number that you can put in that if it gets stolen, you know what I mean? You can deactivate this, and it's like a parent-child relationship. It's like a child card to the parent account that doesn't give you access to that. I mean, there's a lot of ways that you can hide that information. I just see
PayPal though makes it easy. That's all I'm getting at.
I get it, but I think ultimately, like, I don't really care. Like, who's John? Nothing besides Apple Pay, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, Shopify, Amazon. There's just so many of them. It's like, I don't really care one way.
All right, let's end the pod here because we've got 5 minutes left. Chris, let's ask you this first, and then we'll end it off. Microsoft, Alphabet, and Meta have closed at an all-time high, and earnings are all next week. Is this scary to you or exciting to you that they've run up so much before having to prove they're worth the run-up going to next week? What do you think, Chris?
Question is it Beyonce or Lizzo? Who's coming?
All three of them, because all three of them are well, except Google, but the other two are high.
Beyonce, baby.
I think all of them are going to do well. I think all of them are just going to do well. They're in a industry where there's not a lot of competition. Each one of them has a specific moat around their business, and this is the year of efficiency for a lot of them, so they have the ability to guide higher. So we'll see. Microsoft is just tremendous growth ahead of it because of the AI momentum and cloud growth. Meta has a ton of cost cutting that's now being, finally coming down to their bottom line. And on top of it, they're able to buy back a ton of shares. Google has both of those things, and Google's value is still low. So I think of the three that you mentioned, I think Google is the most interesting, and probably the one that I guess a lot of people are not talking about as much is Amazon. I think Amazon is absolutely going to destroy their earnings this year, and basically just people are going to reprice Amazon much
Let me ask the question like this for next week. 2 are up, 1 is down. So Alphabet, Meta, Microsoft. Which one would be down on earnings? Which 2 would be up on earnings? I would say Microsoft would be down, and Google and Meta would be up next week.
Yeah, because the expectations for Microsoft might be a little bit on the high side.
How you agree?
PE is almost like 38.
Right I do agree. I think Meta's going. We talked about Meta's going to 500. Google's going over 200. Amazon is going to 300. That is my bet. I've been buying more calls on that. I've been accumulating Amazon.
What, for 2026 or 2025?
2026. I think Amazon's going to just fucking gangbusters. I think it's going to do better than Google, and I still think that, as I posted months and months ago. But I have both. It's not like I'm actually choosing like a winner. I still have Google, I have Meta, and I have Amazon. I have very little Microsoft, but I do have a little bit, and it's done well.
Okay, Carlos, next week.
Same. I think it's about expectations for Microsoft. It's not about how the companies actually do. It depends on what Wall Street's expecting from them, right? So I think that's a fair assessment. That it'll be tough for Microsoft to beat, but for the others, I think they'll be fine.
Okay.
So one thing, someone PG, he says, but why Amazon only has AWS? I would do some homework about that because there's way more to Amazon than just their AWS, especially now. So
yeah, I think we had an episode on Amazon.
Yeah. I'm not going to repeat it again. Yeah. I'm not going to rekeep. Some things are not worth. I think a lot of this stuff is just people not willing to do the due diligence necessary in order to carry the thing forward. a lot of times the narrative, you have to do your own research. We speak about these things, but we're not going to endlessly talk about them every single day, all the time. So my advice to you, PG, would be do your own research, figure out where Amazon's revenue is coming from, what the profit margins are for each of their businesses, and see what's going on. Because like I said, I'm not going to do the homework, you know.
So Alex, bring up that comment. See, that's the wrong way to look at something. So I understand if you've been sitting in Amazon for 5 years and you're up double, okay, that's terrible. But I haven't been sitting in Amazon for 5 years. I've been in it for, I think when it crashed to $85, $100, that's when I was buying a lot of Amazon. And just like Kris bought it at Verizon, he didn't buy it 15 years ago and is sitting in it. He's buying it at a certain price only recently. So you're thinking about it all wrong. Some things are meant for a trade. I think something is going up a certain amount. You buy calls for that trade. That is a different thing than just holding shares for 20 years in something. Not everything is meant. Even I agree that we have to hold everything for 20 years. Only certain companies that we talk about, like Tesla and Enphase, that I'm holding for a long time.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be fun. It'll be a fun week next week. Got a bunch of earnings. We're not going to have a Sunday episodes, guys. Probably going to nuke Sundays. Just we're all getting way too busy on Sundays, but we'll be back Monday through Thursday. Today's Thursday, right? Yeah. Next week.
Yeah.
All right. Later.
All right. That's it. Thank you, everybody, for joining.
Good
See you
weekend.
next week. Bye, everyone. Have a good one.